Welcome back. Today I want to look at adding colors to our web page program, website program. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at, on W3 Schools, they have a whole section called the Colors Tutorial. So if you just search for colors, you'll get into that section of their documentation. And I really like it because they take it down from very basics: red, yellow, cyan, blue, magenta, and take it on through to all the millions of colors that there are for the computer these days, using hexadecimal between 00 and FF, specifying the intensity of a particular color. And it's called RGB for red, green, and blue, because those three colors on the computer make up all the other colors. And it shows you examples of everything. And when we started with all this stuff, they started naming all the colors that they wanted to use in the computer. And when we go to color names, there's 140 colors that have been named in the color to use as CSS commands, so that you can use any of these names rather than the hexadecimal or any other values to come up with the same color. But the color looks the same no matter how you described it. So, and then we have color values, which goes down, and black is all zeros, white is all Fs, and all the colors in between. And then they have this wonderful section here called color groups, where they categorize a bunch of colors together by what their basic visual effect has on our beings. So we have pink, we have purple colors, we have red colors, we have orange colors, we have yellow colors, we have green colors, cyan colors, blue colors, brown colors, and white colors, and gray colors, which grays really don't have any hues in them, so they're kind of neutral. So what I've chosen for our little escapade today is we're going to use, in the brown colors, I picked 3 colors out of that to use to stylize what we had as a program. So website program where we could add our data. We changed it so we could use the database. We're going to add one more table to the database so that we can tell the web page how to make everything look differently than what it looks like here with white and black. So I'm going to come over here first to this is the database that we created. We called it website. It had a table called websites within it, and the websites, each record in that database is a page on our website, and it has all the components that you need to be able to pull all the pieces together. So the other thing what we're going to add today is I'm going to add another table in here, and we're going to call it CSS. And CSS is a very simple structure. It's going to have 2 fields in it. The first field is a CSS-ID, which is type integer, and it is an auto increment. And that creates a primary key for the table. The second field is CSS-content, and that's a text field, so you can put in a whole lot of text information into that. And we're going to go and browse on this, and we're going to open up this record and say edit, so you can see what I was doing here. And I chose my three colors being bisque, maroon, and saddle brown. Actually, four colors, and chocolate, because I like chocolate. Hope you do too. So this is what I do, is I put in all my CSS code into this text field. Now a little bit of information here. Body is the body of the entire page. UL is an underlined, it's an unordered list. LI is a list item within the UL. So all these different styles affect how this list item comes together to create our menu bar, our nav bar, if you will. And then we have, if the list item is not active, then the background color will be saddle brown. And the active one will be chocolate. So we're going to put all that into there and save it to the database. And then our old page comes about to look like this. So that when you move your mouse around, you get a different color on the page that you've pointed to. And when you click on it, it loads from the database the page that you wanted to look at. And this, I just put in one sentence for each page, and you can put in as much as you want. You can make a whole website using this and then be done with it. So, and now we will look at some of the code that we've used to put this all together. So this is the index file. The index file opens up the database and reads all the data from the tables that are in there into the memory of the computer. So here's where it opens the database, and then it goes into websites, and it goes through all the websites, and it adds each one to a memory variable, and it adds it to a variable called pages, which is an array, and page is another array. So it's an array of arrays. So that gets a little bit brain challenging to try to consider how on earth you resolve that issue. But it's basically, it's like a two-dimensional array, which is very similar to what a database is, which is like a grid, which is like a spreadsheet, a table. So that's what we're doing. We're creating a table within. And now the new program comes in and it adds another array called CSS. And CSS, it reads from, if we come down here, it reads in all the website pages that there are. And then it says open up the CSS file, the CSS table within our database, and then take each CSS record and add it to an array that we're calling locally CSS. And then it creates the website being a new, our object name, and it says, it tells it to set up the data. And when we say the new part, that's when we put in the pages of that we've accumulated from our database and the CSS that we've also accumulated from the database. And it passes this stuff in, and then it tells it to set up the data and then show the data. And then if we look at our code, on the left side here is the old version and the right side is the new version. You'll see that in our class we have all the variables that we need to make everything work. We added one more variable called myCSS that's also an array. And then in our construct function, it used to say construct pages. Now it says construct pages and CSS. And it takes those two variables and it passes into variables within the class. And it becomes part of the object as it gets created. And then in the set data works identically to the way it used to work, except it has to do one little check here, which is if we're on the page that is trying to build the navbar entry for, then it has to say it's an active link so that the color changes on the page that you're looking at. So that's the only change in there. And then when it generates all the code, it does exactly the same thing that it used to do, except it starts right here with the word style. So this is a style section within the PHP output that we're looking at here. And we're going to look at this in a moment and see how this all lays out on the screen when we actually run the program. But it puts it as a style, a beginning style and an ending style tag. And that's all done within the header, which is the appropriate place to put styles. And so this makes this look like this. And if I come in here and tell it to view the source, then you'll see we have everything that was generated by the PHP program. And then it comes to here and it says style, the body, the background color, the unordered list, the list item active, list item, and this is list item hover not active, becomes saddle brown. And active, it's chocolate. And then we get into the nav bar with the unordered list, etc., etc. So if you have any questions, please leave a comment below the video here on YouTube, and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Thank you for watching, and we'll have another session for this, for PHP in the near future. So, and register for the, subscribe to the channel, and you'll get notifications anytime I put new content up on the channel. Talk to you later. Have a great day.